Hey everyone, hopefully this is working all right. Had a bit of a false start with the technology, but yep, hopefully it's okay. So I'm keen to just dive into it today. I've got about an hour, and then I've got to shoot off somewhere. So what I'll do is I'm just going to share my screen straight away. So we'll go into what we've done so far, and then we'll just keep on going. Okay. So we had a really good start. I think we did about I don't know, an hour and a half last time, and we got to a reasonable place, I would say. We've built out um, we sort of got a bit of a structure about what we wanted. I started to build out a few pages. I built the sign in and the sign up page. So these are just some of the sort of standard things that I just kind of do by default pretty quickly. Big part of the session was connecting to Superbase, right? And so we started to build a bit of a database there. Superbase might not be the end place that we have this, right? It might not be the last place that we have it, but it uh, is a great place just to for our prototype. That's what I'm finding. It's a great place just to build out your prototype. So let's just have a look at what tables we've got. So we're in the data agents one here. The best thing about Supabase right now that I'm seeing is that it's connected. It's just so integrated. It's so integrated into Lovable. That's the big thing. Okay, I'll just move this to the side actually, so I can see the screen. Yeah. Okay, so so I think we got a data set upload, right? So we got the data set to upload, which is good. Okay, and then now that it's in there, I think we put it into storage. So this is like another place for more data heavy files or imagery. It's just a cheaper way to eventually store things as your database gets a lot bigger. Okay, so yep. Okay, cool. So we could download this, right? And then we're going to see what is in that. But I want to just make sure, just figure out where we're at. Um, and the good thing about Superbase also is this authentication part. So you see here that I am actually a user. We did have an initial application for this, so that's why I've got a few emails here, but we're going to change it completely around. We're going to completely do something different. So see that I'm actually a user down the bottom there. Okay. So I'm just going to sign in. Okay, so there's plenty of like upgrades we can make here, right? But I'm really focused initially on just building the scaffolding of this application. That is the key thing. We want to be able to get data in. We want to be able to load. We want to be able to see the data, or at least see a preview of the data, and then we want to run some sort of way that we extract the metadata, like the columns and a bit of information about the table. We don't need all of the data, and then from there, that's when we're going to sort of layer in some AI automations after that. Okay, and then we can get once we've sort of got the scaffold of that set up, we can get a bit more serious about things like UI and experience, right? Okay, so I'm gonna load something up here. Just give me a second while I find just a data set that we can use. Just give me a second. Do I have anything here? No. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to go to Enterprise DNA's data library. I'll just quickly get something random out of here. So in the resource center, we have a data library like this. Okay, let's just download this one. Well, it's quite big actually. I'll do something a little bit smaller while we're testing. Fields, 6, logs. Okay, I'll do this one, call center logs. I just got to make sure it's actually a CSV file as well. Save as. Yeah, it's not a CSV file. Signal. Okay, CSV file. Okay, so let's go back to our app. So call center, and we go upload file. Okay, so cool. Okay, so in data sets, call center logs, view details, data preview. Okay, so the data preview is obviously not working. Okay, so this is what we need to probably work on here with Lovable. Can you please have a look at the data preview area? It looks like we're uploading the CSV file fine. It's going into storage in Supabase, but what we want to do is now we want to be able to actually see at least a preview of what the data looks like in the data sets area. So once I have this in and I can sort of see it, like I feel like that's the beginnings of our structure of collecting information, collecting data. There's more we can do there, but then we're going to move into more the analyst side, the analysis side. Okay, so if I go storage, I go data sets. Okay, so it's for some reason it's going into a different folder, which I don't really love, but there could be a reason for that. I'm not sure. Anyway, we'll fix that. We'll fix that in a little bit, I think. Okay, let's just go back here. Okay, so it's working on the data preview component. As we're doing that, let's have a look over here, data sets. Okay, yep, so that customer service one's up there now. Okay, yep, so all new users will will get a profile created. That's kind of was key, I think, in the last call. We were trying to work that out. Welcome everyone who's joining in. Feel free to ask any questions. I'll just have a look at the chat here. Okay, so yep, so we just need to get this sorted, but it might not be spelling though. It's making me sign in again here. So some of the key things you always need when you're building these out, right? Like you're going to need a home page, you're going to need a sign in page, you're going to need a sign up page. Then obviously you got your app underneath. What I'm kind of finding is, you don't want to get too caught up in all the specific and very targeted UI experiences, like the front end experience. You just want to get the core stuff working, and then you can go back and you can do a lot of that more intensive front end development, like with the AI later on. You just want to at least just get, like, I think when you drill down into a lot of apps, the sort of functionality of like what they're actually doing is never as extensive as you think. It's just probably some simple thing, but it's sort of the UI experience that you put on top of it. So you can get into that later. The core for me is just so key at this point. It's just getting the core working, the core functionality. Okay, I've enhanced the data preview functionality, improved the data preview component, added better error, updated the dataset details, enhanced it. Okay, so let's have a look. Okay, I don't like sometimes these AIs just change stuff randomly as well. It's particularly if you go away and you come back the next day, it's really, really annoying. Okay, so view details. I'm still not seeing anything here. Really drill down into this. And I also don't like any of the styling that you've done. I don't want dark backgrounds. I want it to be clear and white as per the instructions, the style instructions. But please just focus solely on the preview here. We know that the data set is stored inside of the database. So you need to make sure we're fully connected into wherever we need to be in the database to represent the preview of that data set. A lot of this is just feeling your way through it. Like some of this scaffolding stuff can take hours actually. Like it's not sort of once and done, and you have to do a lot of trial and error. But that's just the way it is. I see that you want to fix the data preview. Okay, maybe it's asking add SQL to process CSV files and generate preview data, and then update our code to display it properly. Interesting. Do we really need to do this? Is this a necessary step? Why can't we just grab the first 10 rows of the CSV file? Why not? Why can't we just do that? So I'm always questioning. I'm never trusting what the AI is doing all the time. Sometimes I'll be a little bit looser, but that's vibe coding, right? Like that's what you're doing. But this just looked, the AIs love to overcomplicate stuff, like they truly do. And so when we're just at this point, and I don't think overcomplicated things ever works, honestly. So you need to make sure that it keeps it simple. Okay, so now it's doing a totally different approach, which is probably better. This don't like this at all, way too much. I mean, just debugging that and stuff like later on just doesn't make sense. Okay, let's see if we can load up a few other things. I'm annoyed that it changed all my styling, but anyway. Okay, let's load up some more. Yeah, I'll go get something else from here. Yeah, I just got to turn this into a CSV file. Hold on a second. Okay, I'll do one more. So, company supplier, upload file. So this seems to be going all right. Okay, this approach is much simpler. First, check if the preview data actually exists in the database. Oh, okay, it first checks. If not, we directly fetch the CFV from storage. We use Papa Pass to pass the CFV on the client side. Display the first 20 rows as a preview. Yes, okay. Okay, it's asking us to refactor, which I'm happy with. I always refactor, always. Always refactor. Okay, then data sets. Okay, let's have a look. Okay. So this is where we actually needed to start digging into the code and truly understanding it. This is what. I mean, usually you can get something's not right. It's not even updating. Last few days, honestly, Lovable has been a bit unstable. I have to say, not as good as it has been. Okay, let's have a quick look in here. Okay, so it's a data preview, data sets. Okay, so that's fine. Data set details. Okay, so this is the component. Okay. Data set preview. One of the things that I've learned actually is that Lovable. My developers taught me this. Lovable actually organizes things in a way that is not actually that good. One of the thing what it does is it puts all of the components from individual pages into the components folder, when in actual fact it's much better to keep it in the pages folder or the pages area, and put keep the components for a page within the page. And I find I found that is actually totally superior way to do it. Maybe what I need to do is go to settings and go to knowledge. I'm gonna add a knowledge piece here. Okay, I'm gonna say when building in a modular way, which is what we're always looking to do. Can you please make sure to for front end components inside of the folder architecture, can you make sure to place those in folders within the pages folder, not inside the components folder? Let's see. Can you please make sure for front end components inside the folder, can you... Okay, let's see if it listens. Let's just see if it listens, eh? Some days you feel like you're winning with the AI, and some days you don't. It can be kind of frustrating. I'm sure before these tools were available and vibe coding was even a thing, like that, there's the same with any dev, right? Any dev is very, very similar. Hold on, I can talk for longer now because my other call is a bit later, or my other thing. Oh, wow. Okay. Did we? Okay. Yeah, we got it sorted. Okay, so the error was that package was missing. Ah, okay. And good. And they've refactored the style. Okay, good. Going back to the datasets page, can you please... I don't like the dark backgrounds you've placed inside this component. Can you please change it to the clear, just like you did with an individual dataset page? Okay, this is positive. This is really positive, right? What's it saying here? Okay, it's saying there's an error here. We'll fix that one next. Okay, so it's running. Yep. Okay, cool. So, and this scrolls across. Nice. Okay, that's looking good. I know, this is all simple data. We're not doing any data cleaning at this point, but I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried. I'm just, initially when we were building our prototype, that's all we're doing. We're not getting too caught up in all the, there's so many variables and comprehensive things you can possibly do here, right? That's not probably what we're aiming for initially. We can get to that stuff later. But if we build in a modular way, that's how we can manage a lot of that stuff later on, right? That's why I said build a modular way. Always refactor. Always have a very modular code base. That is just one of the biggest learnings I've had in recent times. Okay. New data sets. Okay, data sets update. Okay, cool. Okay, so we're looking pretty good here. We're looking pretty good for now. Okay. What's this one look like? Okay, it's looking good. I just want to double check. Have we actually? No, we haven't actually created a. We haven't created an edge function. So the edge function is what is going to call the API call, right? Okay, so we want to try again here. Like this is very very important. This is a place where I've gone wrong in the past, which I'm trying to correct from here on out. Is that what Lovable will do? So say we want to do a lot of AI calls, which is what we want to do, right? What Lovable will do is that it will create a different edge function for every single AI call that you want to do that analyzes this, that analyzes that, that analyzes that. Okay. And so there's another project that I worked on that I had like 30 edge functions. But in essence, it was all doing exactly the same thing. It was just basically calling a model with a prompt, right? And so a much better way to do that, and this is how I want to structure this from the word go, is actually to build a prompts table. Build a prompts table in our database and then select it and basically just have one edge function. Have one or like a few edge functions for specific things that you are doing. Okay. But if we're just going to hit the same model with a different prompt, asking the AI to do something slightly different, well then we can just do that through one edge function because we're just going to call the same model each time. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Lovable to create that table for us. Okay. So what we want to do in here is we want to create a prompts table, and we'll also create a models table as well, because what we're also going to do, and this is another huge benefit, is we're going to use Open Router because we can switch models a lot easier this way. Okay. So we have Open Router. We're using Open Router more and more just so it's easier to switch to different models if we need to. So what I'm going to do, I could actually probably use one we've already got, right? So without reinventing the wheel. But let's just set up the database first. So two things we've got to do. I think we've got to build two tables in our database. One is a prompts table. So this is where we can store all of our different prompts that we want to run through an AI model. So we just need details about that within that table. And then another table we need is models. So we want to be able to switch easily to a different model that we might collect from Open Router. So I think what we want to do is we want to set these two tables up in our database first, and then we'll work on feeding that into an AI API call later on. Okay, so that should come back with some SQL here. Okay, so prompts, models, yep. Okay, so it's pretty smart. Like it will set up a lot of these things for us. Yep, okay, I'm just going to go apply changes. I mean, we can always adjust it if it's not good, but it looks good if on first look. Anyone have any questions? There's a few tuning in from Twitter, which is cool. Or X, sorry. Let me just go see. Okay. Okay, just gotta wait for this to work. Okay, so let's have a look in here. This should have updated. Okay, yep. So models and prompts. So what is it asking for? Prompts. Yep. Okay. And models. Yep. Okay, that's all good. That's all good. Yeah, so it's creating some components and stuff, but we don't actually need. I don't know. I'll just see what it comes up with, but we don't. These are sort of more like back end things. We don't actually need them to be on the front end, unless we want to sort of manage. Because I want them to be more sort of global things that the user doesn't have to worry about. It's more sort of for an admin to manage. I mean, we could eventually build an admin part of this app if we wanted to, but you can also just do things directly in the database. Okay, so you now have a complete foundation to start working with AI models and prompts. The pages are accessible through the information in the preview routes. Okay, cool. Okay, but something is not right, so let's just go there. Okay, and then the next thing we need to do, and I'm going to go to another one of my apps first and just I'm going to grab the code just so it speeds things up for us, because there's no point in. What code have I got here? No, that's not what I want. I'm looking for an open router. Content areas. Okay, now what we'll do is we'll come here to. Just got to find docs. Okay. So what OpenRouter enables you to do is you can feed in any model. You put in some credits, and you can feed in any model like that gets credit. They seem to have every single model basically. And so what I can do here is I can go TypeScript. Okay, and yeah, I mean all I need to do is copy this. Okay. And so what we want to do is we're going to feed in a dynamic thing there and a dynamic thing here, right? That's what we're basically going to do with those two tables we've created. So instead of creating separate ones, which I've done in the past, we're going to scale it this time. Okay, something's clearly gone wrong there, but that's right. Can you please create an edge function that connects to the Open Router API? I will also provide a API key for. I'll provide an API key for Open Router for this particular project. Okay, something's not quite right with our app, but we'll come back to that. It's all right. We're just continuing to build a scaffold. So what I'm trying to do here, data agents, right? Data agents is I'm trying to see. Actually, this is what I did. This is what I did historically. Is I did build out all of these different things, right? But yeah, so this was on my historic app, and it was kind of silly, really, when you think about it, because there's just so much to maintain there, and that's why now you just got to absolutely push to the database. You got to try and dynamically feed it into like one singular AI API with parameters. It's just a much smarter way to do things. Okay, so I might even already had one, but okay, so I'll just create a key. If you bear with me, hold on a second. So keys. I'm going to go across data agents. I won't show you the key on this one. Credit limit 50. Okay, one of the other great things that Lovable does, right, is it actually saves these secrets to Supabase. It's a far more secure way to save API keys. So my developers just keep hammering me on making sure that we keep everything secure. And this is what every developer online says. You just got to be super secure with how you are managing all your API keys. And so out of the box, Lovable does a pretty good job if you do what they say, if you follow their instructions around how to do it. Okay, and so now it's creating an edge function. Okay. What I should be doing actually, by the way, is I should be deleting all of this stuff. I should be deleting it. But you see, I got quite far, but I just didn't do it smart. I wasn't smart when I did this. I wasn't, I've got a lot better at what I'm doing here over the last like 2 to 3 months. And so, realistically, I need to go and delete all these. And that just takes a bit of time. So I might not do it all here. I might do it a bit off, but it's still going. Just do a few. I'll do a few while we're here. But we can do all of these things. We can do all of these things, but we're just better off probably just doing it through our new setup, our database. Like here we go, open router chat. Okay, so we'll probably change the name of that, but that's all right. Okay, I'll just do a few more of these. I do enjoy deleting things, honestly. When I feel like I've done the wrong thing, I'm just like, I'm pretty ruthless. I just want to delete. It's just silly having stuff. I used to do exactly the same thing in Power BI. Like if I picked up someone's model and I didn't understand it, I just start deleting. Most of the time, I start delete and rebuild from scratch, and that's kind of what I'm doing here. Okay, we're doing all right actually. I'll leave that upload data set because that's interesting. I want to see what I did there. Analyze outline Gemini. No. I've learned a lot actually in the last couple of weeks from my developers. So we've got this new. We're building a lot of applications at Enterprise DNA now. This is sort of like our new wave. This is a new way of adding a lot of value, I think. And we have this sort of thing where I'm building a lot of prototypes now, and my developers are sort of taking to the next level. And so by doing that, I'm sort of seeing a lot of obviously I've seen a lot of the things that I've done wrong in my prototypes, and I'm learning for the next time I can build more closely in line with their style. And I think that's smart, right? Like that's smart that you're going to go because they're having to clean up and refactor a lot of my code like historically. And then each time I'm building a new thing and we're exploring it, or maybe even adding new features to what we've already built, I'm able to build more in line with their style in the way that they do things. And I think getting more in sync, that's how you can if you're in any business, right, and you've identified, okay, this is the next wave, that's exactly what you want to do. Your developers are still incredibly important. Like, there's just no way I could build it to the quality of my devs that I've worked with for years, right? So, but I can now set the direction so much better of an app of something, and we can iterate so much faster because I can show them ideas and show them what I'm talking about, rather than just like drawing things. And that's the opportunity. That's the huge opportunity now. And so modularity, that's one of the things that I'm learning, is how important modularity is in all setups, right? Just like keeping it simple. As soon as it gets complicated, real struggle. Real struggle for everyone. Real struggle for you. Real struggle for the AIs. Real struggle for your developers to know what the hell you've done. Okay. Okay, so yeah, it's really struggling. Something's wrong here. Hopefully it figures it out and can fix it. I'll just keep deleting here if you just bear with me. Okay, we're going to get there, which is good. Okay, open router chat is our main one. Okay. Currently, even the homepage is not working. Can you please figure out what is going on and just get our application working? Okay. So something to do with authentication, I would say, but hard to know. Okay, so this is looking much cleaner. We can build up from here. Let's actually look in here. Okay, so nothing's happening there. Okay, so let's just look through it. Yeah, okay, so at the moment it looks like it's going to go to GPT-4o, but we can dynamically feed something else in there. Yep, so model and messages. This is, I think, this part here is key for us. This part right here. If you're unsure, this is one thing that I do. I mean, obviously you can use ChatGPT, but I like to go to Mentor and use something like this, pseudocode generator. Just get rid of that. Okay, yeah, I got it on 04 Mini because I like that. So pseudocode is just telling me what's happening in the code in normal language. So incoming JSON, validate message array, forward request to Open Router API. Yep. Okay. So it's going to send. This is it. This is the main part. This is the main part of model messages. Boom. Okay. Streamed response. Yep. Okay. So okay, we'll get there in the end. Okay. I'm sure we'll figure it out soon. Nothing sort of, it's just an error, and we're not, you look at a blank screen, but it's not that big a deal. Like, you'll figure it out. think it's built some components that I didn't even ask for, from what I can tell, but we'll see. I don't want to chat. This is not what I wanted, but anyway, we'll get into it. I just love how it changes your UI and you never even ask for it. Okay, some more errors. I mean, this just happens constantly, right? So like, that's why I just don't get too. I don't. I mean, I didn't even ask for this, but whatever. Do not get too caught up in the user experience early on, like, because you just get so annoyed when it just like goes and makes changes when you don't ask for it. So prompts. Okay, it's built a prompt front end for me, which could be interesting actually. I mean, maybe we could enable the user to customize it. Maybe. Okay. Data sets. Okay, so it kind of looks like it's working. So let's just keep building it out, and we'll tidy up that other stuff later. Okay, so the edge function we currently have is very, very important. That is going to be our main function for the majority of our API calls. What I want to do for different pieces of analysis that we do, I want the prompt to go in as a row in the prompt table. So for the very first prompt, I want in the prompts table, I want to put a prompt about a simple prompt to evaluate the data source and come up with analysis ideas based on the data preview given. So what we need to do for this is we need to, within this particular edge function, it's kind of like we need to rename it to data analysis function. And within it, we need 3 variables. One is the model, 2, well, parameters even, model, prompt, and data set, right? So we already have the data sets in the data set table. We need to insert a prompt, like I said, and then we need to also have a dynamic variable for the models as well. Okay, so pretty detailed. We'll see how this goes. Okay, let's start by inserting this prompt. Okay, yep, good. That's the benefit of Superbase integration into Lovable, is that we can just, within the chat, we can almost control Superbase as well. We're not only controlling Lovable, we're controlling Superbase, which is quite powerful. And then when we connect out to GitHub as well, there's an automatic sync there. So it's also helping us control GitHub too. What you find with GitHub is it's essential to later on, once you get this sort of live, it's essential to use branches, proper versioning control. It's not that hard. It's very, very easy, but I find it quite easy. But we need to do that. We need to manage our app that way. Okay. So this will be some of the more like if you just let Lovable loose and you don't direct it like this, it will create an overcomplicated application, which I've done in the past. And where I'm being very direct here, I'm being very purposeful in how I'm telling it to now build it out, which I think is going to massively benefit us later on down the track. Okay, I've created a comprehensive data analysis system, a new data analysis edge function. Okay, has it created a new edge function or is it? Okay, it did create a new one. Okay, let's just have a quick look. Okay, so really similar, I guess. Get preview data and send to AI. Okay. Get the columns. Yep. Create messages with our prompt content. Okay. Okay. I think that's quite good. Okay, so accepts parameters, fetches the data set, retrieves the appropriate prompt from the database, selects the appropriate AI model, creates an analysis record in the database. An analysis record. Okay, that's good. That's what we need. Analysis. Okay. Yep. Yep. Okay, so let's see if it, okay. Processes the data with OpenRouter's AI, a new analysis service to interact with the edge function from the front end. The service uses the prompt we created earlier. Okay. Okay. Okay, so let's now see. I'm going to add this image here. So when I push run analysis here, I want to be taken to another page, and we'll call this like our analysis page. And on that analysis page, we will reference the data set that we are currently in, right? Somewhere up the top. And then we will have on the left-hand side a range of options of the analysis that we can do. And that will be based on the prompts that we have, right? So the prompts will be listed on the side. And then what you can do is you'll be able to click through, you'll be able to click on one of those analysis prompts, and then it will run that analysis through the edge function, and then what comes back will be placed into the front end application in the analysis page. That's kind of what I want to build out right now. One of the other things that a lot of people do. Okay, so I'm working a little bit on the fly here, I guess. But what some people do, what a lot of people do actually, is they just do a lot more detail around setup. Okay, so they think through the entire app before they go and build it, which is fine. I mean, I might even find myself doing that at some point in the future. Might be way more sensible than the way I'm doing it. Probably is, but what I also find with these tools is that you can prototype so fast. Like that was for a world, like that sort of workflow was for a world where it cost you a lot of money and it took a lot more time to actually code up everything. But what you can do now is you can spend a couple of hours to get to a prototype quite quickly, right? And you can throw your prototype out later on and rebuild your front end later. And then you've still got the internal database set up, like a lot of the functions sort of set up, like edge functions, etc. So you can actually repurpose those into a different front end if you really want to. So that's why just diving in like we're doing here, I don't think is that big a deal. I think it's actually fine. You know, it's actually fine now. This is a new way of working, which is just as effective. And that's what I mostly do. But I'm not adverse as we go through this to start again. But we're going to have a lot of the core stuff done, a lot, and we're learning a lot as we're building this out. This might not work for everything as well. Like, you know, not everything needs a prototype up front, maybe you can, spend a lot more time thinking, doing. I don't know. Like, I really think things are changing. I really do. I mean, I wasn't an app developer historically, but we worked and built out our application over a number of different years. So I was very involved in it, and things are just becoming more iterative. Like, you can prototype quick, you can reconfigure, you can refactor. Like, this is what we're doing internally. This is what Enterprise DNA is doing. This is what I'm doing with my developers now. It's just a totally new way of working that enables you to move faster and get things out there quicker. And I think that's a great thing. Okay, so let's just see what it does here. So now when you click Run Analysis from the dataset page, you'll be redirected to the Analysis page, where you can select different types of analysis to run. The results will appear on the right-hand side. Okay, Analysis. Okay, so data source evaluation. Okay, let's just see. Is this directly coming from the prompt? Data source evaluation. Yes, it is. Okay, that's good. So what we are hoping to do is we're going to send a prompt. You are a data analysis expert. Analyze the provided data set. Okay, so I think this is all right. Okay, so let's go run analysis. We can also make this wider. So in theory, this is going to run that edge function through Open Router, and it's going to come back with some analysis for us. But we need to store all of this analysis, right, so that we can pick it up later. Interesting. Okay, so we're making some serious progress here. So this is really good, really good. Okay, so obviously it's not formatted right, but it doesn't matter. And this is based on the absence. Okay, so I'm just going to send a photo. Tokens used. Okay, so it's incredibly cheap. Also, 4.0 is not a great model for this sort of stuff, right? But we'll fix that later. Okay, so it's not bad. Can I just confirm that we are actually sending the preview dataset into the AI prompt? Because if you look at the image, the very first thing it says is based on the absence of specific column details and preview data from the X dataset, I can provide generic analysis, but we need it to be very specific analysis on that actual dataset. So can you please make absolute sure that we are feeding that in as part of the overall prompt we're sending to the OpenAI, Open Router API? By the way, if you want to chat about this more, check out a brand new community site we created. So we used to have the old AI builders, but now we've moved to the new AI builders. This is something that I personally vibe coded myself, and want to encourage. And so again, just shows you the possibilities, right? There's a number of enhancements I'm looking to make, but in terms of functionality, this is exactly what we need for now. Okay. And so you see here that I'm just doing updates every day on various things I'm working on. So Power Vibes is going strong, and No Code is experiencing a few issues today, but I'm hoping to get that back online shortly. We made some updates there, and I thought that I could. Maybe I'll do a post on our live stream shortly. Okay, so looking at search. Okay, it thinks it's doing it right. Okay, so let's run analysis again and see what it comes back with. So this is part of the response that I'm getting. So it's saying that it's not getting the actual details of the data set. So we really need to think deeper about why. Why is it not getting it? And why is it saying this? Come on. Okay, certainly not perfect, but we will figure it out. Okay, so what we got to also check is the data, is the analysis. Okay, the analysis is not. We need to be saving. We need to be saving each piece of analysis to the analysis table because we need to be able to. Oh no, here it is. Okay, here it is. Here. Are we saving the details though? No, I don't. I don't actually think we are saving the details. That's the problem. Just looking at the database, I'm not. We need to make sure that we are saving the response or the exact response that is coming back from the AI model. We need to make sure we're saving it in the analysis table inside of our database. That's the only way that we can make sure that we are able to review the correct information because we might have a lot of different analysis for a particular data set. So this is what's being called a service. And so this is, looks like it's sort of, yeah, maybe is the connection between our front end and the database for the analysis, for the actual analysis information. Interesting. Let's go back here. Another thing you can do inside of here is go to Edge Functions and Data Analysis and Logs. So this is important to, okay, interesting. That's what I just did, right? Data set, yeah, okay, so something's not wrong. See, there is something wrong. Okay, so it's providing me quite a lot of info that I don't really need, but I'm still getting this. Getting this. Is it fixed? Maybe we need to actually Yeah, I think we need to save the at least the preview to the database potentially. Yeah, I think that's what we need to do. Is when we load up data, we need to actually. Yeah, it's the only way I think. Because at the moment the preview is sort of trying to spin up on the front end. That's why. That's actually why. So it's almost like in the database we need. So database files, right? Data sets. Is that with every data set? We need to have a column which calculates the metadata. Yeah, I think that's what we need. Let's do that. Because this is not going to work unless we do that. I think what we need to do is we need to when we upload a CSV file, and it could in the future be multiple CSV files. What we need to do is we need to run an automation through OpenRouter or we just need to extract the metadata from the file. So we need to extract all of the metadata that we can from the file. So how we do that, I'm not sure, but we need to extract like all the column names, the column types, and sort of set it up in a way, maybe in sort of SQL code, so that we can reuse that SQL code various times down the line. So how do you think we should do that? I understand you want to extract metadata from CSV files during upload. Looking at your current code, you're already passing the CSV to create a preview. Yep, you're not systematically. Yep. Okay, so extract comprehensive metadata from uploaded. Yep. Store this metadata in structured format in the database. Yes. Make it available. Yes. Okay. So hopefully it will sort of figure that out, and we'll get to it shortly. Whilst in terms of just for beginners and for prototyping, Lovable does a good enough job of organizing things. It does. I mean, it can overcomplicate things, and it can do some things that some people don't like, but it's still good enough for a prototype. No doubt about it in my mind. Like, you can get so far. I mean, I built this, social media application just using Lovable so far. I probably will move out of it soon, but and into maybe like Cursor or Windsurf, but it's been absolutely good enough for now. Would say like I've spent probably 20 hours on this so far. The AI Builders HQ, so about 20 hours on it, which is pretty good, really. If you think about it, like, it's fully functioning, has notifications. You can save favorites. It's got a whole lot of pretty interesting things, like pretty comprehensive things. I mean, there's a lot of things I could add, like messages and things like that. But 20 hours for something like this is not much. And I would expect that would be, we're going to need that minimum here, right? Like, I think even with some of my more strategic ways of developing, way better than before, still going to need about 20 hours here, I think, to build something that you'd be like, wow, that's actually quite useful. That's cool. I mean, this obviously I think could be a massive, absolutely massive application, right? But that's just what it's going to take. What's happened with development, right, is that it's such a low bar to get into it now that you've actually got to aim for much more. Like you've got to aim to build absolutely incredible things, which you can do now, which you can do, and you can do it far faster and far cheaper than you had in the past. But the bar to make a successful app now has just gone up significantly, like an exponential amount, because of how democratized it's actually become. Okay, I'm going to go for another 10, 15. Just keep going here. Let's see how we go. I'm doing, not a lot of this work is that exciting. Actually, it's a lot of debugging and things like that. But I'm determined to just keep showing it live. Just keep showing you how you can do it. A lot of people still don't believe. They still don't believe that you can actually build stuff with these AI tools, which is just crazy to me. But you can do amazing stuff. Okay, I'll just refactor while we're doing this. Okay, so I've implemented a comprehensive solution for extracting and using metadata from CSV files. Enhance the file upload, storing metadata storage. Okay, so let's go and upload something, and let's see. I'll refactor that. Okay. Always refactor. Always. Okay, let's redo this one. Okay, interesting. I like it. It's doing some interesting things that I probably wouldn't do myself, but it's all good. Rows, columns. Okay, upload file. Metadata. I love it. This is pretty good. I mean, I'd never think to do this, right? Never. This could be actually really useful. Okay, let's see. Is it actually loading this metadata in here? See, this is why I love vibe coding, right? Because I'd never even think of doing this sort of stuff. Okay, columns, preview data. Perfect. Okay, so it's actually in there. Have we got metadata as well? Storage path, preview data columns. Yeah, okay, here we go. Yep, that's what we need. So name. Great. Okay, so we have these two things. We can feed these into any prompt from here on out, and we should be able to get. Because what my ultimate goal here, I explained last time, is that we're not going to analyze the data specifically with AI. What we're going to do is we're going to use AI to write SQL code that will then create subsets of our data that we can turn into charts and visualizations. That, to me, is a much better way to run a data agent rather than just giving the AI all the data and hoping that it gets it right. Because I think you'll find, even now, that there's a lot of hallucinations. But what you can do is you can actually do what humans have always done, is that you can actually write the SQL, write the Python code. because the AIs pretty much know this stuff now. They know it better and can do it faster than most people. And so that is a better way to, I think, approach building a data agent now. Okay. And the idea is that we might be able to put the AIs on loops just to, we could set it off and it could do 50 pieces of analysis for us and bring it all back to us and tell us the key things. It could do all that analysis. We could then send all those 50 pages as context into a big AI model and then say, just tell us the important things. Tell us the things that we should focus on. And then we could probably have a chat with those initial pieces of analysis to dig even deeper into something. So that is kind of what I'm aiming for. Sorry, someone's messaging me. Okay, just stupid issues. Okay, I'm just going to keep refactoring until we get it right here. Okay, run analysis. Let's just see. Okay, data sets, analysis. So we've got a long way to go, but we're just slowly making progress here. Okay. Best thing to do is just keep setting up, is giving as much detail as we can to sort of like the physical database, and then that will give us a lot more options down the track. I think we've done that pretty well here. Okay, the data analysis, each function is quite large now. Okay, so what it's going to do is going to break it up. Okay, no reset. Okay, so something's completely wrong. Okay, that's all right. That's all right. So what it should be doing, right, is that inside of here, if it's making it more modular, it should be making it more modular in here, because this is getting too long, right? So this is the long file. I don't know why it's so long, but yeah, I mean, I would dare say that's probably too complicated, but we'll see. I already know from the work that we've done in Power Vibes, right? So Power Vibes is our Power BI automation tool, is that you can, so I'll just show you what you can do with metadata. You can do a lot. You can get a lot of information with metadata, incredibly detailed, right? So what we've done with Power BI is we've built this extractor tool. You can get out your of a detailed model, so it's not just one flat file. You can get out the metadata from there, okay, and then we put it through in some AI models, and we extract all the initial setup of the Power BI report, like what analysis you currently have, what M code you have, what DAX formulas you have, what your actual model looks like. So we put it into the SQL file. And then what we do is then we run all this other secondary analysis. And then we load that all into a database. And then we can use these as reference for the next AI query, right? So this SQL model is very, very key, because what this enables us to do is always, and you'll see this down here is when we run these, is that it always references the SQL model whenever it's creating a new measure. And so it's actually using the right column names and the right information, the right table names within all of the measures. And so that's a massive, and it just shows you, like, so we can do a lot of DAX here, DAX calculations, this is exactly the same as like, let's go and write 100 SQL queries that go and segment our data in some way, and then we can use those data segments to then create the visualization. So that's kind of that's kind of where we're heading. That's where we're heading. Okay, we just refactored this, so I don't know why I'm refactoring it again. So, okay, so it's broken down now, right? So, okay, it's broken it down. Can we please have another look at the analysis results? So there's something not right with the analysis results. Remember, within any prompt, right? I mean, I'm not that interested in the model information or the raw analysis data at this point. I'm more interested in the analysis results. Through this function, through this edge function, we just we need to absolutely send the right prompt. We need to get the right data set, the new metadata that we have created, which is in the columns table of the analysis. I think of the, what table is it? The dataset files. We need to take the columns and preview data columns from there. Those are two key columns to send into the prompt now as well. And we need to send that to the model. We need all of that context to be sent to the model so that we are getting the analysis results in detail. Please make sure we're sending all of the key information through the edge function. All I care about here is the analysis results. That's the main thing. It needs to have all of the metadata, the preview data, all of the right prompt, and then we need to see what the analysis comes back as. I'm going to also switch over to a different open router model here because like 4.0 is actually pretty hopeless. But what I found is that the latest Gemini models are incredible, absolutely incredible at this stuff. So let's, so if you go here and we go top weekly, so we can go, like I'm finding that this one's actually quite good. So we can click this. Just give me a second. Okay, I might have to actually round off the session for today, and we'll come back. We will come back and discuss. Or we'll keep going next time. Okay, thanks all. Thanks for joining it. We'll keep going. We've got a long way to go, but we will keep going next time. And we've made some solid progress today. Might not seem that way, but I think we've made solid progress in building like the scaffolding and foundation. So we're just got to keep going along this and see where we land. I might stream tomorrow as well. We'll see how we're going. Okay, thanks all.